Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport live stream of our Let's Talk Sport show this evening. I'm Jamie Davies, and in this topic tonight we are going to talk about Formula One, which we haven't touched upon on our YouTube channel in a while. I think the last time was actually somewhere last season when it ended just before Christmas, and it's been a couple of months now. It's been a good while since the F1 season had finished. It may not feel like a long time when you think it's between December and March, but really that is a long time in Formula One when you think of how many races and the schedule that they have between March and November to December. It's quite hectic, and it will be this year, around 23 races if I can remember rightly, to be happening this year, which is the most races ever in an F1 calendar, which if you ask me, I just think it's a bit stupid. I think there's too many races. I mean, hopefully they could get all races done this year, I think it was 16 last year because of the COVID restrictions. But hey, who knows what could happen. I personally think that there should be a lot less races. I feel like because since Mercedes have been dominating it for so much since 2014, the more races makes it even harder for the teams below them to compete with them all year round, which is just a big ask if you ask me. And I think if there was less races, it would make it more interesting, which maybe with 16 races is enough, like it was last year. Maybe even less than that. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much there. But I remember Bernie Ecclestone would always say that he would pretty much say 16 or 15 was enough. And I think even Martin Bundle said 20 is too many. Even though Bernie Ecclestone got to 20 races. So Anyway, we're not here to discuss that. I'm live, Dad. Go away. Go away. Anyway, today we're discussing Formula One. And as I mentioned, as you can see in the title below, the topic is, can Red Bull stop Mercedes? I don't see why not. I don't know why. I don't see why not. Because Red Bull are one of those teams that I've always been consistent at the top. Okay, they haven't won a Constructors Championship since 2013, and I just honestly think that this year, if they've got any chance of beating Mercedes, it is this year. Okay, Mercedes were top notch again. They dominated in the black car last year, not the grey car, not the Silver Arrows cars we know them. I don't know if it's going to be black again this year. Don't know, we'll see. It looked cool in black, Mercedes, but of course a lot of their cars that they sell are in black, so who knows, it might stay like that. Brought them good luck anyway. But there's something about Red Bull where this is mainly down to the fact that they've done some recruitment, mainly because of the fact that Max Verstappen has now got Sergio Perez as his new teammate, a driver who was very consistent last year, and this was after Alexander Albon pretty much fucked up. He didn't do very well in the car. He didn't do better than Pierre Gasly. Really, I think he did around the same kind of level where for Red Bull they've clearly shown that with Daniel Kvyat, with Gasly and with Albon, that if you don't perform in the little time that they give you, then you're back down to their team at AlphaTauri, or as we used to call them, Toro Rosso, or you end up with a reserve seat, which is where Albon is at the moment. So, but there's something about this one with Red Bull, because Sergio Perez, you know, he's a senior driver, he's got experience, he's not from the Red Bull program, so I think this is what's going to be really exciting. I think this is really the first ever driver we're seeing Red Bull go outside of their circle and actually bring someone into their circle. So Perez was one of the best drivers last year in terms of outside the top two. He won a race. He finally got his first ever race win since he joined F1 in 2011, and it was a long time coming. I think it was over 100 odd races later, and he finally got the race win, which you know, at the time when he got that race win, he didn't know he'd be in F1 again because he had no contract extended with Racing Point because of Sebastian Vettel coming in for when Aston Martin starts up with him and Lance Stroll. And it always helps when you have a dad to keep you in the team. Just saying that to Lance Stroll. But no, in all fairness, he had a good 2020, wasn't a bad year. The whole team did well. But with Perez, you know, I'll say this now, that Perez finished a lot higher than Albon, of course, in the Drivers' Championship last year. And I think that's what pretty much got in the seat. I think from what Christian Horner said, the team principal of Red Bull had said that he looked at closely at his data's performances of 2020, and they knew he was the right man to come in and replace Albon and be Verstappen's teammate. The big question is, who's going to be their priority driver? I think that's an easy question to answer because Verstappen has been their best driver over the last few years, and I honestly think that he's no doubt the number one man. He's their baby. Verstappen has won races. He's won races out of nowhere. He knows how to overtake when you don't expect it. So I think he's the man, obviously. But I think with Perez, it might drive him more to just do better. Because he'll know that he'll look over on the other side of the garage and go, this is a good driver next to me. I've got Perez challenging for the Drivers' Championship as well as me. But it could work as a team as well. I think what Red Bull need to do, if they can beat Mercedes this year, is to somehow make sure that they've always got two of their drivers on the podium and there's only one of the Mercedes drivers. Because let's be honest, Mercedes are going to be the favourites regardless. This is going to be their year again, I'm sure. But I don't see why Red Bull, if they can just get the consistent right and improve their results from last year, they'll be very close. They finished second in the Constructors last year, Red Bull. Albon just did not perform. He had too many out of the top 5 in the races, and I just think for me, I can understand why Red Bull have done it now. And who knows, with Albon sitting back and watching in the garage this year, maybe him seeing Perez maybe do well and Verstappen together will drive him on to try and come back next year. Because let's not forget, Perez only has 1 year on the contract, so Perez has to perform, otherwise he's out of a seat. And we know how ruthless Red Bull with Dr. Helmut Marko they can be. Dr. Helmut Marko is just ruthless. He really is just ruthless. I wouldn't like him to be my boss. I'd probably be sacked. The amount of mistakes some people make at work, I'm sure he wouldn't let anyone make those mistakes. Well, no, he'll let you, but then you'll find yourself through the exit of the back door. So yeah, I think going back to the topic though, with Verstappen, he needs more race wins if possible. Red Bull have proven that some tracks favour them more than Mercedes, so they've got to take the advantage of that. Regardless of what the weather could bring to those races, regardless of what the temperatures could bring, they've got to take them because they know that with Mercedes, let's say you're leading the championship after 2 races and already you make mistakes in the 3rd race, Mercedes ain't going to let you get away with that. They'll make sure they take over. And we know with Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, maybe at the start of the season, Toto Wolff will always do that treatment of, both of you just race. We'll see after 5 races maybe, and then we'll see who's number 1 priority. Hamilton wasn't number 1 driver in 2016. Nico Rosberg got a lot more in his favour in terms of the parts for the car and for the strategies for those pit stops. He got priority. So that was because he was outperforming Lewis Hamilton. Whether Hamilton fans like it or not, Nico Rosberg deserved that championship. He actually performed quite well. Some say it was just luck. Can't get luck by winning a world championship. I'm sorry. It's a big challenge to win. That's like saying you were lucky to win the Tour de France. Oh, so I was fastest. I was fastest out of everybody else, but apparently that was lucky. Fucking hell, no. God knows. Some people don't know sport. But I think with Red Bull, we learned with Ricciardo and Verstappen, because Ricciardo was just as good as Verstappen at Red Bull. That had 1 or 2 moments, but they were still good friends off the track, even after that incident in Azerbaijan when they both collided on the straight. I honestly thought this could be like Webber and Vettel again at Red Bull, where sadly their friendship will be cut off because of this, and they'll just focus on their driving. Nope, they were absolutely professional from the race interviews, and they just got on with it, and they were friends again. They did things together, which I guess is part of the job with the marketing of Red Bull, but they did challenges together for YouTube, for Twitter, you name it, and they looked like they had a good laugh, and they were still good friends. And I'm sure Verstappen has missed Ricciardo as his mate. We'll see what happens with Perez and Verstappen, but I'm sure Red Bull they'll no doubt prioritise Verstappen, as I mentioned, but with Perez, I wouldn't be surprised if Perez can somehow outperform in the first 5 races. They've got to prioritise, but we'll see. I'm not expecting Perez to beat Verstappen. Verstappen will finish higher than than Perez. I think for Perez, he knows that he should be a team player in this because he needs to extend that contract. The last thing he'd want to do is go right in, destroy relationships at the team because he doesn't listen to the orders or somewhat just to get a race win. I don't know, but we'll see. But this is the time to do it. Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton have proven to be a strong partnership since Bottas came in 2017. Bottas has had moments at the start of some of the seasons. He won the first race last year. He won the first race the year before that, and it gave you that kind of misleading thing of he's going to win. He might just do it this year. I don't expect Bottas. I think this is Bottas's last year. That's another topic for another day. I just think that he'll get replaced this year, regardless of how he performs for Mercedes. But they're going up against a very strong Mercedes. They've won everything since 2014, and this year doesn't change much in terms of regulations. So we'll see. Connor Porter's got in touch in our live chat page. Do ask your questions before we end the stream. He says, "Hello, mate. Do you think Max is done with Red Bull if he doesn't win the title in the next 2 seasons?" It's a good question. I mean, at some point, he's going to get older, isn't he? In F1, there's a lot of drivers around him that have won world championships around his age or younger. Vettel, Hamilton, straight away as an example. So, it's a good question. I think it depends how close they can be. If there's something promising at the team that he knows that we don't know, which is, let's say they predict in 2023 they can win the world championship because of the new regulations. I don't know. But we'll see. It all comes down to what's on offer, isn't it? I mean, Mercedes, I think, next year will bring in George Russell. Hamilton, we don't know how long he's going to be in F1 for. I think he wants to at least do this season to get the 8th World Championship, and that might be it. He might have had enough by then. Lewis Hamilton's already announced that he doesn't plan to be around for much longer. He doesn't expect to do another 10 years or anything like that. Not like Kimi reaching it all the way to 40 or whatever it is. So I do think there could be a chance at Mercedes for Verstappen in the near future if it doesn't go well for him again still at Red Bull, and that Mercedes is still competing at the top. Again, as I say, next year, God knows what's going to happen next year. When there's new regulations and new rules, it's always exciting to see, especially when it's big changes, and they're trying to make the racing even more competitive, so that means the dominance, hopefully, as an F1 fan, will not be there anymore, because I'm bored of that. We've seen enough of Mercedes dominate, seen enough of Red Bull dominate, and Ferrari doing it in the early 2000s. It's great to see, but it's boring as a racing fan. So it's a good question. I just think, going back to the whole thing, Red Bull have to get themselves going from the get-go. The hype is there. There's this love already for Perez going to Red Bull. He's just earlier today announced his helmet design, which looks awesome, and already you can tell from Perez he's loving it. This is the peak of his career. If he can just continue what he did last year, maybe even get a few more race wins, because he is in the car that can get him more race wins. He was probably never dreaming of this 12 months ago, before the start of last season, so who knows. And I think with Verstappen, if he can get a few race wins as well, it just adds all the points up, and you just want to win the races that Mercedes struggle at as well. It's all about taking the advantage of that. It really, really is. It's all about being consistent, just like Premier League football. You've got to pick up the points as well when your rivals don't. So, for me, I don't see why Red Bull can't. It's a big ask. Not bad fiver bet, I don't think. That, new team, 2 very strong, solid drivers with great experience. They know how to win a race or two. And, yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think we're going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching Let's Talk Sport. Do subscribe and do like this video. And let us know in the comments below. Do you think Red Bull can stop Mercedes and beat them to the Constructors Championship? I will mention as well, of course, some of you could say Ferrari, but Ferrari last year obviously didn't finish anywhere near the top 3 at least, and they announced that they probably didn't see themselves being competitive until 2023, 2022, 2024, something like that. So the fact that they've already announced that, unless it's mind games, which I'm sure it isn't, that's a concern. So that's why I'm not even looking at Ferrari this year, despite the recruit of Carlos Sainz along with Charles Leclerc, and the fact that they haven't got Vettel anymore dragging them down, let's be honest. Aston Martin, there could be a dark horse with Vettel in that team maybe. I actually think they could get worse. Again, new team, new name, we'll see. New colour, green, yeah. It's going to look like the Lotus cars or the Jaguar cars of F1 probably, but hopefully it won't beat that. I think as well, McLaren, it'd be interesting to see what they could do with Ricciardo and Lando Norris as well. That partnership could be immense. Marketing-wise, they're going to be an absolute laugh. Both of them are right characters in F1, aren't they? I mean, Ricciardo never stops smiling, and Lando Norris just can't stop laughing. So it'd be good to see what them two do. And Lando Norris is such a good driver to watch at the moment. A very promising young driver. I guess that's it really in terms of who's going to be up there this year. Alpine as well, you know, with Fernando Alonso there, Esteban Ocon. That could be a really, really good partnership. It's a good, in terms of, this is a very exciting build-up to this season. And I just think if anyone can stop Mercedes this year, it really, really will be a fantastic season to watch. So, can Red Bull beat Mercedes to the Constructors Championship? Let us know in the comments below. Press subscribe, and we'll see you soon. And don't forget, later on, we'll be doing a live watch-along of Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League. Have a good night, everyone.